We make way for the National League Manager of the Year, Dave Roberts of your Los Angeles Dodgers. Dave, good morning. Congratulations.
Hey, Dan. Thanks for having me on. I'm trying to get back in my car. I got these fire alarms going on when I was getting a cup of coffee, so I'm going to try to diffuse some of this noise. But, hey, thanks for having me on. I'm a huge fan of you.
Okay, where are you right now?
So I'm in Del Mar, right across the racetrack, having coffee with Mark Kotsay, and I guess these fire alarms are going on outside the Starbucks. So I was kind of just, I was going to enjoy my little latte outside talking to you. I'm going to get in my car, and you got fire engines behind you, so it's all good.
Okay. How did you find out that you had won the Manager of the Year?
So, yeah, I just went to the ballpark, and it was kind of one of those, myself, Dusty, and Joe are satellited across the country, and Dusty, I think, was at his home, and Joe was at his restaurant. I was at Dodger Stadium, and it's kind of one of those things that the lead up, and then you get the thumbs up, and it's announced. And, there was a lot of, anxiousness for me, and, obviously against those two great managers, two men I respect, and to hear my name called, very surreal, very humbling, and it just kind of closed the chapter on a pretty great year for the Dodgers.
What were your expectations for yourself this year?
You know what? I think for me, Dan, it was more of I wanted to be consistent in my perspective, my outlook on the season, and try to stay focused on the day-to-day. And I think that that's a good question. I think that, for me that's the thing I can kind of hold my hat and for the coaches on this year. And I know that we came up short as far as not winning a world championship, and I get that, and that's the ultimate goal. But I think that the process to stay focused and, to overcome adversities, but to have the guys not waver and to be relentless and stay the course, I think that that's what we did. And, even having Kenley Jansen pitch 3 innings of that last game in Chicago says a lot about the character of our guys.
How much do you second-guess yourself now, even after the season's over?
You know what? Honestly, is that the first time I really had a chance to replay the season was yesterday. I really didn't take too much time in thinking about managed moves and things that I might regret. And I will say this, that there was a lot of scrutiny with me taking the kid Ross Stripling out of his major league start out of a no-hitter in San Francisco, and also Rich Hill in Miami out of a perfect game. But Dan, the thing I told the coaches and the players the first day of spring training is it's got to be about the Dodgers. And I think for me to not take those guys out, and Ross never pitched that much in professionally, and Rich obviously was dealing with the blister, would have compromised, what I was saying, and would have compromised the team. So I think that those are the two things I would probably scrutinize the most. And if I had to do it over again, Dan, I would do the same thing. So I think that as far as regret, there's things that I made, decisions I made that didn't work out, but that happens in any leadership role. But I really don't have any regrets.
Talking to Dave Roberts, the Dodger manager, National League Manager of the Year. Hopefully, have they stopped the alarms at Starbucks there in Del Mar?
Yeah, they stopped the alarm, so I'm just relaxed right now.
Okay.
I'm going to brave it and get out of the car in a second here.
Did you watch the World Series?
I did. I did, and obviously, I love the game, and being so close to it as far as being in the postseason and being familiar with the Cubs, and obviously having a relationship with Tito. So I was definitely invested, and it was great. I mean, it was not only great for baseball, but just sports in general, and it was a great series. And, like I said, after we got eliminated, the best team won.
Do you second-guess managers or manage along in a game that you're not involved in, but you're just watching?
You know what? I wouldn't call it second-guessing. I think it's more of, from my lens, it's more of, with my personnel, what I would do in certain situations. But I think that once you become a manager and you realize that there's so much second-guessing going on in what you're doing, and understanding that there's a lot of preparation that goes into every decision that me and the coaches make, and you've got to give other coaches that same respect, and whether it's in baseball or in football, basketball. So a quick story, it's pretty funny, Dan, is that I'm a sports fan like you, and I was talking to Buddy Black, former manager now with the Rockies, and we were talking about football one day, and I was frustrated that it was in September. We were watching a football game for one of our games, and I was talking about the play calling, and he kind of called me out a little bit and said, "Don't you think that they know that they're running this off-tackle play for a reason, and they're not running a play action for a reason?" And it just kind of hit me that absolutely this offensive coordinator knows what they're trying to do. So at that point in time, this is a few years ago, and it just really hit me hard like, well, no, duh. And so I think from that point on, I realized that these guys know what they're doing, and there's a plan.
You're 44. How many guys on the Dodgers roster are you faster than?
All right, I'm going to start with Adrian Gonzalez.
I'm faster than Adrian Gonzalez, Dave.
Hey, well, Dan, you asked the question, so I got to throw Gonzo under the bus. So, so you and I, we got Adrian.
Okay.
And I think you and I, we've got, I'm actually going to put you in my same category. We got Yasmani Grandal. And I think outside of that, you know what, I don't want to get on Kenley, but I think that you and I might be able to beat Kenley in a 60-yard dash. But, hey, that's about it, Dan. So, you know what's funny is I tried to race my son, and he was 16 years old. And it's funny, I got him early because I jumped the gun, and then about 15 yards into the race, he caught me and was winning going away. So, yeah, my days of running are certainly over, and it's a lot easier on my body just to manage a baseball game.
All right, that leads me to my final question. We have a Yankee fan who works here, one of the Danettes. Now, he's sort of a Sox fan now, but he was a diehard Yankee fan, and I occasionally...
How does that happen? How does that happen?
Seton, explain to Dave how you became a Red Sox fan when you were a diehard Yankee fan, and Dave Roberts made you cry when he stole that base, Seton.
Well, it's actually those are tears of joy of finding my new favorite team.
Wow. I hope your parents disown you.
Yeah. No.
Okay. All right. Now, just to make this really, really painful for him, Dave, could you put all of us on first base with you when you steal the base? The biggest play in the American League Championship Series against Mariano Rivera. So we're all standing at first base with you as you take us through the play.
You know what? It's one of those things where I will take you. I'll take you out there, and Tito gave me a wink out there, so I trot out there, and after Kevin Millar gets his walk, and I've got all these crazy nerves going through my head, and so the bunt sign was on. So Lynn Jones, our first base coach, got the sign from Dale Swain, the bunt sign. And I saw the bunt sign, and I said, hey, I want to steal this base. And so Lynn Jones looked at Tito, wiped it off, got to Swain, wiped the sign off, and so he said, all right, kid, do what you do. So then at that point in time, I knew it was on me to steal second base. And so that's why a lot of times I give Terry so much credit for giving me the autonomy to try to steal second base. And so I get out there, and truth be told, if Mo would have went to the plate without throwing over, I wouldn't have went on the first pitch, but he threw over 3 times, and at that point in time, I was pretty locked in, and I got Maury Wills, my mentor, on one shoulder saying, Doc, this is what you wanted, this is what you've been waiting for, and I've got the ghost of Billy Buckner on my other shoulder saying, if you get thrown out, this is going to be it. So this is like the tale of two evils, and I'm just kind of going through it, and fortunately, Maury Wills, on my left shoulder, won out, and it worked out obviously great. And I get to second base and had a great jump. And Derek Jeter goes, "How the heck did you just do that?" And it was cold, October, and Billy Miller base hit, and we ended up winning it. But for me to be a part of history, it was special, obviously, and very humbling, Dan. I mean, it was amazing.
Yes, Seton.
Yeah, we did it, huh?
So, but Seton, hey, here's the deal, Seton. If from what I hear, if Dan Patrick was closing out that game instead of Mariano Rivera, Kevin Millar wouldn't have got on base. Dan wouldn't have walked the leadoff hitter, because I heard if it wouldn't have been this career that he took in broadcasting and TV, he had a career in baseball. So, Dan, unfortunately, I couldn't play with you. I probably could have played with you, but if it would have been you on the mound, I don't think that Red Sox would have won the series in 2004.
I was an Eric Gagne guy. They called me an Eric. I was Eric Gagne before Eric Gagne. Just to let you know that.
Oh, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So Sans, the goggles.
Yeah, I had goggles on. Yeah, I had. I didn't wear. I didn't wear a protective cup though, because I didn't think anybody was going to hit a comebacker, Dave.
So you went fastball, slider, change, or what did you just go? Just straight gas?
Yeah, I told you. Here comes cheese.
Right.
I held the finger. I held the one finger down, Dave. I was telling the catcher what I was throwing and the batter.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You would have been one of the dirty boys with Charleston and Dibble and all those guys then, right?
I don't know if I was that filthy. You know, one of the nasty boys. I don't know if I was that filthy, but
nasty boys. There you go.
yeah.
You go.
Hey, congrats. Tell Kotze I said hello, and well done. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to maybe see you in spring training, Dave.
Sounds good, Dan. Be well.
All right. That's Dave Roberts.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.